Okay, welcome to my Airbus A320 Finnair again. I think I just like the livery, so I've decided to fly them. We're in a very particular area of the world where the time is currently 12:19, so we're at midday. And this is what it looks like. So I'm guessing you can imagine roughly where we are. We're very close to the North Pole, actually. We're between the top of the Arctic Circle and the North Pole, so halfway between the two longitude lines. Flying towards Svalbard, Longyearbyen Airport, which is somewhere over here on this little peninsula. Or might be that one there, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's that one there, looking at the distances. So we've got what we call, well, I'm going to call it the midnight moon, midday moon. The midday moon and the midnight sun are the two kind of phenomena of the region. So basically this will be light for extremely long hours during the summer and dark for very long hours during the winter. As you can see here, we've got kind of permanent twilight. I'm just going to turn off the dome lights now. So we've kind of got a, yeah, as you can see, it's a sort of twilight. So we're going to be flying the RNAV approach runway 10, the Zulu. We're taking Zulu as it's got low minimums. Minimums are 1190 barometric, so quite high. And yeah, the high minimums are actually documented in the document of the airport, basically saying it's due to the high terrain around the airport. So basically to the south you see these mountains here up to 3,000 feet, to the north as well. So we've got high minimums basically to give us a good amount of time to decide if the approach is good or not while we're coming down. We'll basically just say if the approach isn't good, we break off the approach at a higher altitude so that we've got plenty of space to get over these mountains. Missed approach then is basically not authorised south of the airport. We've got to refer to the missed approach here above. We've got HILS, so high intensity approach light system, PAPI on both sides of the runway. Missed approach is left direct, NESA centre holding, climbing 5,000. Max speed is 160 knots for Category C aircraft. Barrow VNAV not authorised below -35, so this is a very special RNAV approach. Usually the RNAVs are not valid below -10 degrees, but in Svalbard, given the average temperature, it's down to -35. Today, the weather, we have QNH of 1012, it's -9 degrees, and the dew point is something like -12 or so, -15, here we go. No significant changes. Remark, wind at 1400 feet is 120 at 13, and on the ground is 140 at 7, so we've got a discrepancy of 6 knots between 1400 and ground level. So we're coming in over the island here. We're now inbound to Lolvo, which is our initial approach fix at a maximum of 220 knots. The aircraft's doing all that for us. Approach wise, I'm going to engage and confirm approach phase. There we go, approach phase is now engaged. That brings up our two lateral and vertical deviation pointers. And I'm going to arm approach to basically get us to follow the profile beyond the final fix and continue the descent down to the airfield. We need to set that local QNH now, so I'm just going to do that now. 012. I'm just wondering, is there actually a way to change that? Nah, that's annoying. So change it before you set it, because obviously if I departed Rovaniemi, the QNH was 986, so we've got 200 hectopascal difference up to here, and that causes quite some problems when you suddenly put that in and the autopilot thinks, oh, I've dropped by 300 feet, when you haven't really. So there we go, we're coming up to 15 miles final now at 4,800 feet on the profile. Lolvo's at 4,000, Sierra Bravo 605 is our final fix at 3,000, and then there's the runway ahead and in sight. So as you can see, we have got some terrain around the airfield. Ground spoilers are armed, we've set auto brakes to low. I'm expecting some snow on the runway, potential snow drifts as the winds are over 7 knots, and that's enough to start moving snow around, depending on how hard it's packed. So anything else useful to look at? Let's have a look at the airport. So the airport here is 2,477 metres long. I think it's 8 degrees of variation in this part of the world, which is not too crazy actually. But I noticed when I took off in Rovaniemi, there was actually it was using ground GP basically to tell me that it was using the GPS for compass due to the discrepancy with magnetic. So in terms of references, we've got the overview here. Airport qualification, rapidly rising terrain to the north, south and east. Caution, wind shear on short final. He's around minimum safe, so 5,000 feet is about right. It's left turn direct to Nezas, which is already programmed. Overview in terms of the weather, we're at 28 nautical miles inland from the western coast of Spitsbergen, which is over there, on the southern shoreline of Isfjorden. Spitsbergen is the largest of the 9 islands in the Svalbard archipelago. It's well north of the Arctic Circle, midway between the North Pole and the Norway mainland in the Arctic Ocean. The airport is near the mouth of the Aventfjorden inlet on a very narrow strip of coastal lowland. Land immediately rises to a plateau just south, so that's this here that you can see. And the terrain is between 1200 and 1500 to the northeast across the inlet. Terrain rises to 1,000 feet. That's that there. Expect moderate so turbulence below flight level 100 and wind shear eddies on short final when the gear comes down now. I'm going to set flaps 2. 1. High landing minimums and special approach procedures are designed to allow for clearance of high terrain. Runway surface uneven, circling to land not authorised south, so no circling around descent. So we can circle around in the bay, no problem. Low visibility procedures exist. Runway 10. Visual vertical distances PAPI, 3 degrees both sides of the runway. Airspeed restrictions exist during certain weather. Standing water may occur 800 to 900 metres from runway threshold. Landing distance available beyond threshold is 1988. Okay, so on the approach now, I'm going to get the ground chart. Actually, I'm going to turn all of that off and we're just going to use the ground chart here. Set flaps 2. Longyearbyen traffic. Finnair 34 Romeo is on final approach runway 10. Okay, speed's below 170, flaps 3. Just turn the brightness down on these screens as they're actually, you can't see the green contrast as well. There we go, that's better. 100 above, let's set flaps 4. Just to get us bounce back up onto the profile minimum there. Continue, PAPI. 1,000. Okay, there's PAPI both sides, but according to Microsoft there's no PAPI, so that's wonderful. My wind is supposed to drop down to about 7 knots by short final. I can't see any PAPIs, which is quite frustrating actually. Learning memo, no blue. Lights on and signs are on now too. There's our 1707 knots.
500. 400.
Bumpy runway, remember?
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Here's the uneven surface. It's extremely uneven. Try and vacate on Bravo then. Maybe need to see about getting a scenery installed that's going to fix that, because this is obviously the Norway update from Asobo, and as you can see basically we're missing PAPI. We're supposed to have PAPI both sides and we had no PAPI whatsoever. And the runway surface I feel is a little bit too uneven. It's not actually that snowy, which is concerning. A little bit on the ground there, but strange. Okay, landing rate. I think there was 2 touchdowns potentially. No, just the one was on the last touchdown zone marker at 194 feet per minute.